Hey, what's up? In the last video, we were able to get our comments from our comment thread and actually print them out to the log. Now in this video, I'm going to clean things up a little bit. I'm going to organize everything a little bit better, and I'm going to build our object class for getting ready to put the comments into a card view. So by organizing better, what I mean is I'm going to create a new package. I'm going to call it comments, and inside of comments, I'm going to put everything that's related to the comments. So it's just going to help organize everything better. So I'm going to grab comments activity. I'm going to drag it in there, hit refactor, and that's fine. And then I'm going to go up here to the main directory, and I'm going to create a new Java class. I'm going to call it URLs, all capitals. And inside URLs, I'm going to put all the URLs. So right now we only have one URL, the base URL, but in the future we're going to have more. So I'm going to add them all into this URLs class so I can reference them easily from any other class. And I'm going to make this public so that it can be referenced from anywhere. So what I'll do then is go down here into comments activity, and actually first up top here, let's create a URLs object. So I can go URLs equals new URLs, close that off, and then down here where the base URLs, I'm going to go URLs dot base URL, and that will actually pull it from that object class. So that should be good. I can see some red. Oh, there it is. So we need to do the same thing here, URLs dot base URL, and all the red goes away. Now let's go into main activity and let's just quickly do the same thing. So I'm going to get rid of the URL up top, and I'm going to go URLs dot, we need to create our URLs object. Let's just create this here, go up top, and go URLs dot base URL, and that's the only place we actually need it, so that's good. So that's going to clean things up a little bit. Now inside comments, we're going to create a new class, and I'm going to call it comment. And this is going to be our data model for putting things into the card view. So putting the comments into the card view. And like I talked about before, inside of that card view, what we have is we have the actual comment, so the content of the comment, the author, the date, and then we have a comment ID that we need to store. So we'll type those all out. So we'll go private string comment, private string author, private string updated, and private string ID. And then we can create our constructor. So highlight everything, go down, insert all the getter and setter methods. Nothing fancy here, and let's make a toString method too, just for logging purposes if we need to. That's it. There's our comment object class. Now we're going to go over into comments activity, and first thing I want to do is create a global variable. It's going to be an array list of comments, so array list of comments, and we'll call it comments. Actually, might as well call it m comments since that's the convention. And we'll go down into our init method here that we were working on last time, and we don't need this for loop anymore. I'll just comment it out for now. It was just to make sure that we were getting all the data correctly. Actually, since what we're going to be doing is adding the entries to the comment objects, I can use the same loop, and we'll just do it inside of here. So we're going to be using the same extract XML class as we used previously, but we're going to be extracting with a different tag. So if we look at the entries, what they look like here, the comment itself is actually in between these p tags right here. So it's going to be pretty easy for us to get. We just need to submit this for the start tag and this for the end tag, and then use our extract XML method to snip this out. But if you remember from back when we built that method, it actually doesn't, currently what it does is it looks for the start tag, and then it will look for a quotation mark, the very first quotation mark, and it'll snip out the middle. But what we need is to submit this and submit an end tag. So we're going to need to edit our extract XML class. So let's go into our extract XML class, and I'm going to actually override the main method. So I'll go public. Actually, I'll just copy this out and paste it, and we're going to put another tag in here. So I'll do string end tag, and I'll create another variable up top here. So private string end tag, and then inside the constructor, this dot end tag equals end tag. I'm assuming that most people know what overriding is if they're watching this video, but if you don't, basically it means you create the same method, but you put different parameters into it, and then the code will decide which one to use based on how many parameters you gave it. So like this one, this constructor only has 2 input parameters, but this one has 3. So if I create an extract XML object and I pass it 3 parameters, it will by default build this constructor. If I only pass it 2, it will by default build this constructor. That's what overriding is. And now we're going to go down into our start method here, and I'm just going to type everything out, and then I'm going to explain it as soon as I'm done. So we'll create a string, and I'm going to call it split XML, and it's going to be null, and I'm going to create a marker that is also going to be null. And I'm going to write a little bit of logic here so that it can decide which method to use for splitting these up. So I'm going to go endTag equals to none. Then we're going to go marker equals quote backslash quote quote. So this is going to be like the regular method that we have been doing. And I'm going to take this split XML, I'm going to put it in here and delete that. And up top we're going to have to set the endTag equal to none if that scenario is the one we're looking at. I'm going to get rid of this because I've declared that as the marker right here. And we can go else marker equals endTag, and then split XML equals XML dot split the tag. And then we're going to go down here and we need to change things. Also, we're going to change this to marker, and whoops, not markers, marker. And I think that's actually it. So okay, so now I'll explain it. So basically we have our regular scenario here. If that's the case, our end tag will be set to none, and we're just going to basically do the exact same thing we were doing before. We have a marker, I've just replaced that with a variable, and then marker gets used down here to split it up at the end. So it's looking for that double quotation mark to finalize the split. The only thing different here is this else statement. So if we don't have our normal scenario, the marker is actually going to be the end tag instead of being the double quotation mark. Then the original split is going to be done with just the tag, because that's what the split is right here. Because originally what we had was a scenario like this where we had a quotation mark, but now we just have these p tags, so we don't need that quotation mark right here. So we're just going to split it at the tag, and then we're going to go through the loop here and we'll split it again at the marker. And in this case, the marker is going to be this right here. And then in our regular scenario, the marker would be the double quotation mark. So that's it. That should be good. But just to make sure everything is working properly, let's actually uncomment these logs and let's take a look and just make sure that everything is working the way that we want it to. So let's go back to comments activity, and what can we do here? We can create our extract XML object. Let's call it extract new extract XML. I'm going to go entries.get i.get content, because we're getting what's in between the content tags. And then we're going to pass our start tag. So if we look at the log here, our start tag is going to be this whole thing right here. So that makes it pretty easy. We're just going to shove that in there. And then our end tag is just going to be this p tag right here. So just, whoops, I don't know how that happened. There we go. And that'll be that. And that's actually all I want to do for right now. I just want to make sure that it's stripping the data correctly. So let's run that and let's take a look. Oh, I forgot to do start. Let's do extract.start. There we go, my bad. Alright, let's run it again. Once again, we'll go to funny, refresh the feed, and click on post. And let's take a look at what we got here. So we'll go to the very top. There is a ton of these. So it looks good. Like, it looks like it's getting all the comments. Alright, so let's go to the top here. We can see that it extracts this, and it snips out the comment. That looks good. Extracts that, snips out the comment. That's good. So at a first glance here, it looks like it's mostly looking okay. This one looks like it could be wrong, but it's actually just somebody looks like they're putting a link in the comment itself. So that's probably fine. And so yeah, like largely this looks like it's working the way it should. Okay, so yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to stop the video here. In the next one, I will go over adding all of these extracted parameters and all the rest of the entry parameters that we want into our comments class, and then we're gonna add it into the cards that we were talking about earlier. Don't forget to leave a like, follow me on Twitter for notifications when new tutorials are posted, subscribe if you haven't already, and